In this video, I'm going to be doing a little bit of research on the coin RMRK. This coin was recently mentioned on Alex Becker's channel, who is a pretty big YouTuber at this point, who is recently kind of full bore into cryptocurrency and spends a lot of time looking at metaverse related coins. He's specifically interested in gaming in that portion of the crypto world. And in passing comment on one of his recent videos about altcoins, he mentioned it as an interesting project to look into. So today we're going to kind of go through the process of looking at some of the fundamentals and actually seeing what people are saying on social media to see if there actually is a chance for it to moon here. And I'll let you kind of do your own feedback as far as what you think from the fundamentals, but also talk through my opinions on it as we kind of do our research and step by step through finding out what we have to. So let's jump over the screen right now. I've already set up CoinMarket Cap, and this is usually where I start off. CoinGecko would also work too. Again, I said it's in the metaverse space, so let's have a look. Let's start macro and kind of look in on a large scale how far down the list as far as metaverses it actually is. There we go. It's number 27 here, right here. We actually see it. We see it on a green sort of chart over here to the edge. We see it's up 2% over the last 7 days. So the last week it's had a little bit of a pump. I wouldn't be surprised if it had relationship to that sort of Alex Becker commenting on it. Let's go ahead and actually click on it. Let's check on the chart and sort of see what we've got looking at. There we go, the 7 days. So we're kind of seeing the same as the market is right now. We're seeing a general consolidation period where it's just moving along sideways. But if we go and click on the all, which I like to do to give some frame of reference of where it's come, obviously it had a pretty nice high starting point here. You know, a lot of coins like to start a lot lower. So our market cap is at 241 million. So we find that right here up at the top. And then we can sort of see where that sits us up here. But what I like to do is I like to look at it in comparison to Bitcoin, say, for instance. So Bitcoin being the market leader, altcoins always rallying after the fact. I like to see if it's following that train of thought, because generally it's predictable. So it is something that you could also be looking at. So I'm kind of curious to see. The last peak we had here was pretty much just in the 1108, I think was the all-time high. So that kind of fits in line with it, right? So if this was the peak for Bitcoin actually right here. So this is when the altcoin started mooning, right? So this is when it peaked and everyone was looking for the altcoin of choice, which happens after Bitcoin, and they found it. And we managed to make an all-time high for this puppy of about 63. I can't actually get the pin on the top there. Oh, okay, I'm using the side here, using the bar over on the left-hand side. It looks like about $63 was its all-time high. So, you know, that's interesting to see where we are now. We're at a 25, so it's got some legs to do. Let's actually pull up a calculator here and do 63 divided by, what are we at right now? Let's just call it a flat 25. So that's a 3 times, 2.5, 3 times is the potential where it's come from as its all-time high. And that, being in line with sort of what the market has been showing. So that's a good return. We could expect to see that. Plus, I would say, and I would hazard by the end of the bull market run, a double of that. So if we're looking at a 2 to 3 times, I'd say we could probably see a 6 to 7 times by the end of this market, if this was to actually, gain the traction it's kind of already got. So let's look down here. I always like to look at what's trending. You can kind of see sort of like the bullish sentiment. I like to find out what people are saying about coins. So let's see, what do we see here? It's going to 100 and 150 pounds. This is specifically in pounds, whereas this is in US dollars. So the pound is quite a bit more. So this guy, he's really bullish on it. We see moons to Mars. See, here we go. Alex Becker enjoyers. So clearly someone else is on this tip here. Where can you buy RMRK? Interesting. It's actually at the bottom of this page here. Yeah, see, Alex Becker sent me here. So this is interesting. We're seeing, generally people commenting are always going to be bullish and biased on these sort of things. I was interested. I always just kind of play with this. Yeah, I'm feeling good about RMRK, and it gives you a vote on what people have voted on. So we got about 86% of people who've actually clicked on this have said, yeah, they feel good about it. How many that is? That could have been out of 4 of us, right? So that could have been 3 out of 4 of us. Where are we going to look down here? So RMRK App, part of Kusama. So that's interesting up here. We can see that it is part of the Kusama contract. So Kusama, I don't have much exposure there, but it would be nice to get into some. So if you don't have any, this might be a good place to kind of start. Kusama system, custom notes, okay. includes, all right, so that's kind of, it's got some stuff. You could read more into this in a little deeper. I might go into this one day. Okay, so there was an a fair drop. I don't know what a fair drop is. I know what an airdrop is. Should do a little research on the founders too to find out who these, you know, if these are actually players that we should be concerned about. This is actually where you can buy it here. So I am already part of KuCoin, so I might pick up some there if I decide that this really is worth it. Again, being in the metaverse, it's number 27 on the list. I feel like it's probably not got enough exposure to be too saturated at this point, which means I think that there are people who know about it keeping it in that back pocket. So we can also see that there's about $1 billion in circulating supply with a market cap there of 242 million. So my bad, that's 9 million. My bad, not a billion, but that's about 9 million, almost 10 million. Okay, let's go over to the app. Let's actually check over the app and let's swing over and just check out what the whole thing is actually about. So this video here, I've seen this before. This looks very familiar and I can't play this on YouTube more than likely. Yes, this is an interesting section. So RMRK's fundamentals about what it's proposing to really make the main course of it is that it's kind of got the plot of land section that like a lot of the other ones like Sandbox and a lot of the other sort of metaverse worlds are doing. And you can actually see it. Actually, we can look at the video too here. So you can kind of see it there. And what this is talking about is how you can buy a piece of land, then you can create an NFT, a billboard of some sort, and you can assign that to the land so that the land owns the billboard, right? So you now can get, you have an asset that owns another asset. So it's a very interesting way in the contract sort of way that this is also here right now talking about how you can distribute it because it's up to you. You could then share in the profits. You could have contracts that allow other people to make money off of it, to profit from it, to rent part of the NFT. So seeing as that the emulation here, when it comes to this kind of NFT, actually has a really interesting use case that emulates real life use cases for land and fungible things that we actually use and sell and resources such as billboards and space and you know what I mean? It's basically going into that digital land space. It's a very interesting way to approach it because traditionally, people have been selling you the NFT and you have like, cool, I got a picture. What do I do with it? It's been hard for people to wrap their head around. But when you start to put it into context on how they could be connected, it's opening the doors for a lot of people, especially with the NFTs. So I think that even in this video, they actually do talk about how it will start companies starting to get more interested in the actual NFT space just because of the actual concept that perhaps a popular place in town that's owned by someone, they could put a billboard, a person could rent out that space in the middle of town square where there's a lot of eyes, and you could rent out that billboard space, you could assign it to your land, you could put that land in a trust, and boom, now your family owns it, and it's actually got some tangible benefit just like you would have any other land, and it would be, kind of a really exciting way to make money. So when you talk about it that way, I think it's a really exciting NFT project. I'd kind of seen this before, and I figured I'd look into it a little deeper. So this is kind of where we're at with this video. I also read about this, again, I can't play this video here, but what it's talking about in this video, to my understanding, is that each portion of this character right here is theoretically its own NFT, again, because NFTs can own other NFTs. So interesting things start to happen when you do this. So if an NFT can own another NFT, you can actually have it connect with something from another game or from part of the rest of the game. So for instance, say you had a magical sword that you had got from perhaps this game or perhaps even in another game, you could attach it to the character as an NFT. And as long as they were on the same sort of in the same sort of ecosystem, you could actually put that NFT as part of it. And so if your specific one had a card or a sort of player character card that they could showcase, it would then be incorporated into it as long as the code was written to sort of showcase it in that capacity. But you could assign it to that other NFT, that other playing character, so that they now have it and they own it. And even though you do own the asset that is the character themselves, again, it sort of trickles down through it. It's just a very interesting way that actually gets back to real ownership rights, which is a huge part for, I think, these NFT space. So I think that's a really interesting point to bring up. That's where this video kind of goes for. I would definitely link to this, and I would have you guys send over and check it out. Have a look at those 2 videos. Yeah, so they actually already have, I believe they already have a game going, Canaria. So this is sort of one that they're building, and this is the one based on that, where it's going to have sort of character attributes, and your character will be able to maintain those, and you can transfer them between each other. So that's pretty interesting to do it. So here's the team. You know, I would probably dive into this deeper and find out, you know, where each one of these people has kind of like spent most of their time. And we've got a little bit of a roadmap here, which is actually interesting to see. Let's see what this first one says. Oh, that's what I'm on now. Let's see, royalties and bidding. Oh, bummer. It won't actually let me. Doesn't actually let me click on it. So, or is it trying to download something there? Yeah, that won't let me click on it. Maybe it's just my browser. I would like to check out the white paper eventually. So let's see other trusted by. So, you know, I'm always looking for names that you've got some association with, some other people you might have seen. Maybe you guys have heard of some of these people featured in. I've seen that. All right, I've seen Cointelegraph. Okay, so cool. Jobs news. Let's see what's in their news, if they've got any space going on. Anything interesting? Community curation. I think they are starting to actually sell some NFTs in this space. Or maybe through Kusama. They may actually be experimenting with it through Kusama. So yeah, again, it lists where you can actually get them. You actually need to get any of the, you know, capable wallets to hold it. You also can use these wallets. So again, looks like a mostly Polkadot, because Kusama is sort of being integrated as part of Kusama, Polkadot itself. All right, so my next part here, you know, these are interesting fundamentals, but I would like to go and see what people have to say. So when I go to look at these sort of things, it's really about the buzz, you know, again, so an influencer's kind of talked about it, Alex Becker. He's given it a little bit of a pump, you know, word of mouth. People have gone, looked at it, probably thrown some money into it. Let's see sort of what that results in on Twitter, because a lot of this conversation happens on Twitter. So I'm going to search for its coin handle and just start to see what people are going through. I'm searching through anyone, anywhere. Strolling in the metaverse. Okay, someone's, you know, that's some hype. Say there's a minute. It's just kind of, you know, memeing about, looks like. Not another language. So this one's making a comparison. So we can see right here, we're seeing a comparison to other sort of coins out there. No outflows and dots from institutions. That would be interesting to say, you know, what an opinion is on why dots also hasn't really moved, because that's supposed to be a big one. Oh, bless me. RMRK, that's been developing their own metaverse, top of the NFT category. So we've got a little bit more. So do your own research and hashtag ape, you know, but I would definitely say this is a bullish case for it. What else do we have here? Okay. So we can actually go check out theirs and see what official information they are spitting. If they've got anything interesting. Okay, so they're talking about the launch of Canaria. That's a promotion. Notice anything. I'm going to say that there's actually a RMRK coin on there. So it's on the Kusama or Kurara network. So I have to look into that. All right, still just really looking for any, you know, FUD or hopium. And I'm getting nothing but people pretty happy about it now. It's about to fly. 2.0 for the NFT industry is next level. So this was on January 13th. This is just 2 days ago. going to be adopted. Evolving NFT platform. Why I love RMRK. Evolving NFT platform. NFTs with real utilities. Only one big exchange now. No seed, no private round, no big token unlock. So those sound like pretty, you know, hashtag mooning. It sounds like some pretty exciting. I really like a lot of the graphics people are making for these. And I'm wondering if these are actually NFTs you can purchase in the space. So I'm really seeing nothing but like promising. Kusama, this one's claiming Kusama is going to blow up, obviously being an underlying of it. This guy's favorite metaverse pick. Okay, so I mean, this is quite a lot of scrolling generally within it. So what I find with working with Twitter and doing research for Twitter, you know, sentiment and what people are saying about it, doing a search just for the coin right off the bat and scrolling down really is a telling on the conversation points. And so you look at, say, for instance, this RMRK right now, we've scrolled down, a lot of sort of hopium, just people excited, get your hopes up, let's get all pumped up, this is gonna be a great one. That's more of a good sign to me, even though some people might be like it's delusional just because they're not really talking about fundamentals. But I know that there's enough people backing it, and there does seem to be some, you know, decent use cases for it. But what I would also know is that if you were to go down, say, one like ADA, you're gonna see quite a bit of hate in amongst the community that loves it. And don't get me wrong, there's a huge community that actually does love ADA right now, but there's also a huge portion of them that just claims they're dead. There's nothing there. The value is completely gone. And, you know, so it does tell you, and you can look at ADA. What's ADA doing right now? Let's take a look real quick. Where are we sitting? We're sitting almost, you know, oh, we got a little bit of a run here. Cool, 135. I'm not going to lie. I do have some in the bag. But yeah, since we came down from $3, we've been having a tough time. So we've kind of hit this bottom here. Hopefully we can start to make a turnaround on that. But there's no doubt that it's going to have some good legs on it, but I do think that there's going to be other few coins out there. I mean, look, that's only a 2x to get back to the all-time high. I'd say RMRK probably has a better chance of mooning on it. So yeah, that's an interesting sort of tell. That's usually a good start there for. All right, so we're on Reddit. Let's take a look at Reddit. And let's see. So I put in the coin name. Let's take a look down here. And I'm just looking for good or negative headlines, right? Positive or negative headlines. It looks like lots of questions about it, lots of questions. What's the wallet for it? Is it on, do I need this? Currency, yes. Better than other metaverse currencies. Let's look at this. Related to Big County. Yeah, I don't want to get too deep into that. Sending RMRK to KuCoin, which we saw as one of the places where you can purchase it. Yeah, so I'm right now I'm not seeing anything negative, which is usually the one I'm looking for. So the fact that I'm seeing just questions related to it, and generally, you know, people trying to find out more information, maybe how best to use it, these are good signs. And these would be things that I would definitely start with, putting this in my category of things that I may want to be interested in. Now, if you wanted to go a little bit deeper and actually look at the fundamentals of the white paper and compare those with sort of the actual sort of tokenomics of the whole situation, that would be something that would move on to next if I wanted to entertain it more. But honestly, when it comes to metaverse and sort of real altcoin, sort of, I don't know if I'd call them they kind of are micro caps at this point, because we're talking billion-dollar sort of coins. When you're talking micro caps, they're really based more on sentiment. It's not necessarily the fundamentals that are going to make them, because a lot of the projects do have great fundamentals. It's just being able to get the hype and the buzz around them to get them to moon that's going to be the tricky part. And so again, going back to Twitter, I see a lot of positivity here on Twitter, and not so much hate, which is a really good thing. Although I would take it with a grain of salt, obviously. But I'm very interested in this. I'm going to end with, you know, taking a look at the chart one more time and just kind of like walking through those thoughts one more time. Back here, right here was sort of the Bitcoin all-time high when it starts to peak. This is generally the sentiment that happens behind Bitcoin's rallies. They will go up once they start to slow down, or there is some sort of like lag to the end of them. The lagging indicator is then that altcoins will follow shortly afterwards. This one kind of hopped right on the heels of when it hit the all-time high and started going down. People were jumping out of that, probably selling and moving over to altcoins. So we had a lot of people jumping in here. And again, so this is about a 63. This is about a 2.5 times from where it is currently. So is this a good time to fill up your bag? Probably. By the end of the bull run, I would imagine seeing a 7 times on this at least, if not going somewhere towards a 10 times, because I feel like there might be a little bit of stretch when it gets real parabolic that might actually bring it to that sort of 10 times gains on this position here. So looking at a $25 purchase, I think that's also a place, because as we know, a lot of people get kind of confused with market caps and how those sort of mean. And the fact that if you put $1,000 into a $1 coin would be the same as if you did $1,000 into a $25 coin, if they both went up the same relative percentage. But people still like to buy things that are cheaper. Retail investors do like that. So whenever I see several $100 coins, I'm always like, people are gonna have a harder time with that because they don't understand it. Seeing sub $50 coins, I think, is always a good place. I think people really do kind of get disillusioned by that. They do love the penny ones. They do love the penny stocks. That's why like a SHIB would be like real low. People love it because they think, oh, what's the potential of it hitting $1? I'll be a bajillionaire. It's like, well, probably won't be a bajillionaire because it'll never happen. But yeah, I think RMRK has a lot of potential, and it is one that I would probably look at and filling my bags up with just a little bit. It is ranked number 277 out of all the tokens, but it's number 27 in the metaverse. So I think that really means something. It's up there. I know people have got a few eyes on it. There's definitely been nothing but positivity behind it. So definitely look at RMRK and think about putting it in your bag. Not financial advice, just some educational content and information for you. So see you in the next video.